All right. Well, welcome viewers, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 9, and apologies for the technical issues. Round 9, I believe it is. Let me just check. And yes, it is. Round 9 of the Romula One Season 4 World Championship. And we're here at the 6. Welcome to Toronto. Welcome to the Canadian Grand Prix. And welcome to yet another instalment of this enthralling championship battle. So, currently, we've got, qualifying 1. We're in the midst of that. I think it might have been done already. I still have to check. But for qualifying 1, 17 down to 24th will be eliminated. Qualifying 2, 16th down to 11th. And for qualifying 3, the final qualifying in this knockout-styled format, only 10 remain. And now let's have a quick look at the track here in Toronto. The 6, which isn't shaped like a 6. It's more shaped like, multiple sharp corners, multiple long straights, one corner that might catch people out. Turn 1, a sharp left-hander, and turn for thump, also a sharp left-hander in the same vein. So currently it is Dakar 2. Well, actually, let me introduce myself first. If you look up at the booth, of course it's the booth. Hello everybody, welcome back to Romula One. I'm your commentator, Kian GP, for today's awesome installment of Romula One. And this is going to be an incredible one. Welcome to Romula One, brought to you by King Media and more. And just a quick shout out to our lovely producer, players, and of course caster, who is making all this possible. So currently, new stories heading into this weekend. Dakar has topped all 3 practice sessions, and he wants to go for the Grand Chelem, something that only Critical Noob did, which is last season. So I think you can guess how rare and difficult it is to do so, especially with how close and how competitive this championship is. But not only Dakar, but Turkington as a whole have been really competitive this weekend. And they could, both Dakar and Acer have been in the top 5 in the practice sessions. So they could be very competitive. On the flip side though, Craig Motorsport with Fernand and Outguard, I believe, is it? Yeah. They have not been the best this weekend. Not Fernand. Fernand is likely to miss this event. Well, let me check if Fernand is missing this event. Yes, he is. So Fernand will not be racing today, which will be very terrible for his championship. And Craig just overall seemed really worried. It's meme racing though. And because of Craig Motorsport's antics, let's say, meme racing are looking for a chance to take over in the second spot here, or second spot, do I dare to say, the top of the constructors here in Toronto. Of course, it's a home race special for Hyperdrive Motorsports, and they've had a very solid season so far. And coming into this one, many fans doubted, but they've improved and they've approved. Well, they've been approved of the fans, and they have been incredible this season. Best performance, a P2 place podium in Zurich. But the main storyline, Falcon Uberschau is back. The South African finally returning to Romula One, and it's with Leneva. God bless his soul. So it's going to be an incredible weekend of racing action here in Toronto. It is, yes. And here at the Magic 6, well, we've got 5 winners so far this season. Chris Boyd, Dakar, Fernand Outguard and Critical Noob. 5 winners this season, 4 teams, and of course, do I dare to say one more time, 5 winners. But will that 5 become 6 at the Magic 6? Let's find out here in Toronto. So qualifying 1's already over. And the drivers that are out, even though we don't have many drivers here today, only 19 compared to the predicted 24. So top 4 are out. That's Jay-Z, that's Gran, that's Home, and that's F1FA. That's is it 17th? No, it said it said bottom 4 though on Caster's little message. And we've got British Kota here. I don't know if he's commentating up in the booth. Hello. Can you
Welcome
back.
Hello. Thank you.
It's nice
players,
to see you. Welcome to the booth, Kota. So, players, if you mind, could you please share your screen with us? But Toronto time, the Big 6. Could we see 6 new winners? And Kota, Dakar's topped all 3 practice sessions, and of course the now qualifying 1. Is Dakar, is the hype train going to be real? Is Dakar going to win here in Toronto?
If you're a fan of Dakar or not, I think we're going to see another Dakar win today. I think anything could happen though. Of course, Dakar hasn't been as dominant as he has been throughout row racing. This is a return for him. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get that Grand Slam today. I have rumours from Meme Racing that Critical's one purpose this week is to stop Dakar from getting it. So let's see how that turns out for him.
Well, it's going to be very, very exciting. Qualifying 2 is about to start, dare I say. Oh yeah, it's about to start. So, yeah. Predictions, green flag in Q2. And it's looking like it's going to be a Dakar sweep. Dare I say, a Grand Slam.
It's definitely going to be a close, if not dominant win. I mean, he's just been, for someone who's been retired for so long, he's just done so well this season so far.
Well, to the Canadian fans here in the stands and watching live on YouTube, bon après-midi, good afternoon to all the viewers in Toronto and to all the viewers in Europe, good evening. We've just seen an incredible race at the Tour de France, an incredible matchup between England and Switzerland.
My heart is still going. From that match.
And in a weekend full of sports, MotoGP at Germany, the Formula One at Britain, of course, but none come close to Romula One. We're here in Toronto, we're here at the Magic 6, and we're here to have an incredible day. And well, I've just been hyping up this weekend. How about let's have a look at qualifying itself. So interestingly, Dakar isn't out yet. He's still in the pit lane. He's probably still looking at what tyres to fit.
Dakar is definitely out.
Dakar is out. It's not on the leaderboard.
He's going through the chicane at the moment. I mean, we're on board, or we're not on board, but we're watching one of the memes at the moment. It's Critical Noob. Let's see what his first lap's like. He's going through the chicane at the moment, keeping it nice and neat and tidy through there. Opening his DRS down that long curved straight, actually. I mean, with the amount of street circuits we do, you'd think it's a Formula E calendar.
Oh, it's the wall, goes Critical Noob. And that was a lap that he was looking really good that lap, but that chicane, not chicane, hairpin, and I said it in my introduction earlier this evening, that is the hairpin that might get people out, that might just confuse them a little bit, and it has. And who would expect? It's from one of the best drivers on the grid. Critical Noob has broken his front wing, but he's already back to the pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly tough circuit. It's very fast-paced, but it's also got a lot of hard braking zones, and it's one of these.
That's a circuit. That's many cars off. That's a. Is that a G-force car? That's Chris
that
Boy.
is just where they finished their lap, though. So I.
All right. Oh yeah.
Exactly. Go over that. This track's really complicated, of course, because it's very fast. It's also very technical. So these drivers are having to balance a setup between these long back straights where they're getting all this speed and these tight and twisty corners where they have to be basically on the brakes at the perfect point, turning in at the perfect moment, and getting through the corners without hitting the walls. And it's very complicated for them.
So I'm pretty sure it was. That might have been the G-force car that was off. That might have been Chris Boy because he was turning around. So I don't think the car just finished a lap. It might have been ASM because he just did a lap. Oh, sliding! What's going on with? Who is that? Is that deferred? I think it was. But that sliding was something else. So welcome once again up to the booth. This time it's Pumpkin. We've started off with me, the lone wolf, up in this booth, just overlooking the start-finish straight. But now I welcome two new. Well, we've already had the introduction from Kota, but here's Pumpkin. The booth is full. The volume is not.
I can't hear him.
The volume is very low, Pumpkin.
No.
Put the microphone closer to your mouth. Up the volume.
It's legitimately touching my mouth. Hold on, let me even rejoin.
Well, we had technical problems at the start, which is why we missed most of Q1. Now we've got even more technical problems, this time in the hands of a microphone.
I mean, would this really be a YouTube stream for a Roblox league if there weren't?
Yeah, of course. So all this.
Back to what's actually happening. I was about to say. Looking at one of the Turkingtons. I can't see which one it is. I think it's Dakar. I think I saw a 42 there.
It's Acer.
It's Acer, I'm being told. But it's important to note here that Critical's currently on provisional pole, so he might be able to deny Dakar of that Grand Slam.
Oh, that would be very, very, very interesting. Well, of course, I don't think qualifying 2 counts. I think he wants to top every single session, but it's about pole fastest lap and race win and leading every lap. So Q2?
I think he has to top every qualifying session.
Ooh, that would be...
That's one for Caster.
That would be very interesting, though. The only man to ever have a Grand Chelem in Romula One could stop Dakar from...
He would not be the only one to have a Grand Slam in Romula One. Many people have got them before.
Do they? Because I just read that it was only... I read in media by the man himself, Caster, that it's only been... who's it? Critical Noob.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant if Dakar got it, it'd be the only one. As Aether slightly...
No, yeah. So far, only Critical Noob has won. So it'd be interesting... It'd be interesting for Dakar to be stopped for the person to stop Dakar from getting a Grand Chelem to be the only man in Romula One so far to have a Grand Chelem.
Well, sorry to state the obvious, but I think that might be why Critical Noob's trying so hard to make sure he doesn't get that Grand Slam. As we see one of the G-forces coming across the line. Don't know which one it is. It's number 44, so I think it's Chris Boy. Of course, Chris Boy hasn't actually set a lap yet, so again, it shows how tough this circuit really is, because these drivers are really struggling to set a lap. It is actually ASM, so I apologise for that. But these guys need to try a bit harder to get through and set a decent lap. I mean, Ratty as well, only with a 26. ASM is up in P5 as he resets and aborts that lap. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens here.
You think? So yeah, ASM did abort his lap. Chris Boy currently the only the race winner in, where was it? South Korea. Oh no, sorry, Japan. The race winner in Japan. He is currently not on a lap. Well, he is on a lap, but he hasn't set a lap yet. Remember, it's top 10 that goes through to the final qualifying session. It's all to play for here in Toronto.
We're watching Outguard.
Oh, he's touched Outguard touched the wall.
As he goes through, of course. Yeah, I mean, a few wall touches for these guys isn't actually too bad. I think they can still hold together a decent lap, even when slightly kissing that wall, but they've got to be careful with it. Of course, we saw Critical Noob in the early stages really slamming into that tyre barrier, so they've just got to be very careful. Outguard doesn't seem to be suffering the same fate. He is getting very close to these walls, but he's probably having to ink out as much time as he can. Coming onto the short straight now into that left turn with the extended exit, of course, making it slightly easier for these drivers. But he almost nicks that tyre barrier again, coming back towards the front straight, coming down into that fast left-hander, into the left-hander, and then down the start-finish straight. Does he improve?
We'll find out.
Slightly.
Oh, just. But currently it's Dakia that's topping qualifying 2 here in Toronto. Chris Boy, the only person who's yet to set a lap. The race winner in Sendai. He, I'm sure, would love to take, to get into Q3. Well, currently, yes, as I said, Dakia P1 in qualifying 2. He is looking
we're about to see the final laps now, so we'll have to see what happens. I think this is fairly safe for Dakia. Chris has apparently just broken his front wing, but I don't know if Chris has actually been able to get in. No, Chris is not.
No, he's so done.
Q3. He has no time. That will be him out of this qualifying session. He doesn't have a time, and he will be starting the race in P5.
Deary me. That's, I want to say unlucky, but he had 10 minutes to set a lap, and he hasn't set one. So he's struggled, really, I'd say, so far in Toronto. I'm amazed he got onto Q2, considering he can't set a lap. But it seems like for now, well, Chris Boy will be your man down in last place. And I think it's going to stay like this. Unless there's not really anyone out. I don't know if Critical's out setting a lap. No, it looks like he's not. So I reckon that will be our Q3. It will be interesting to see who could actually get through. Of course, in fact, both of the PMPs just sneak in there if we're doing the top 10. We might not be. At the last minute, they were fighting not to be knocked out, but they've both just got through. So qualifying 2 is over. Dakia is your provisional pole man from Critical Noob, Outguard, the returning Falcon Uberschau, Acer, ASM, Clockst for the Hyperdrive team on their home turf. The Train Pig, D, I don't know his full name, so D, Ratya, Deferred, Super, W Soup for Sparks. And, well, actually, Chris managed to set a lap in the end. No, it won't count, though. But basically, your top 10...
1 minute 20.
1 minute 20, so very slow. Anyways, so for qualifying 3, it will be the top 10. It'll be Ratya, D, the Train Pig, Clockst, ASM, Acer, Falcon Uberschau, Outguard, Critical Noob, and the greatest of all, Dakia.
I mean, I think we're in for a very interesting Q3. But to be honest, it looks like it's going to be fairly easy for Dakar to set poles. Kota bookies would definitely have this on low odds, or the totally legal operation that I'm running. We'll have to see what actually happens in Q3. But I reckon that it's going to be a Dakar pole. Critical's probably going to be in P2, and P3 is probably going to be Outguard. We'll have to see what it's like from P4 to P10. But those PMPs just sneaking in there was actually a bit of a shock, I think. Especially considering they both looked like they were going to be out for most of Q2.
Well,
And that hyperdrive livery is still incredibly ugly.
I don't mind it, you know.
Really?
If you've got Spotify and Nvidia as your sponsors, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
If I was Spotify or Nvidia, I'd be asking I would pay not to have my logo on that car.
Honestly, I mean, it's not like they ever say it anyways. The final qualifying session to decide it all. Qualifying 3 in this knockout-styled format is underway.
I think the times... Oh no, the times have now been reset.
Confusion on the ticker for times, but here's the man who's trying to do it all, Dakar, in the Turkington.
Yeah, I mean, Dakar's definitely in for a good shot here. He's fighting with track position with Outguard. I don't think they have slipstreaming qualifying nowadays. But it's still going to be a bit of a distraction if Outguard's right in his face. Then again, Dakar is known as Mr. Consistent in Ion, so let's see what he does here. Definitely interesting.
And he's been Mr. Consistent in Romula One as well. Honestly, you can't just call him that in Ion. He is statistically the greatest
Ion,
of all time.
In fairness, in Ion he'd just come in and he'd just win. Here he has actually had competition, so...
Yes, but remember, Kota, the skill, the competition in row racing as a whole has improved a lot.
You tell yourself that. Dakar starting his lap. Going through turn 1 now. Nice and tidy for him. Of course, he leaves a little bit of room on the left so he can get through that right turn. Keep it flat. Outguard is right in front of him. I wonder if this is going to be a distraction for Dakar. He's coming towards that fast right-hander, that kink now, which leads into this chicane. Of course, he's obviously hit the wall. He's resetted. He's not happy with that lap.
Clearly not. And I mean, if it's Dakar, you want perfection, don't you? Currently on our ticket, even though no one set a lap yet, the Train Pig is leading. But I don't think with his performances this weekend, that's going to stay the same. It is currently, as we're looking at Outguard through the Toronto pond. Yeah, could I call it a pond? Yeah.
I think it's a fountain.
A fountain. Sorry, I forgot the word. Learning with Kian GP, everybody. But here's the Craig. An Outguard fighting for this championship. The winner of the Mocken Grand Prix nearly touches the wall. Round the final corner. And the Mocken will cross the line to take provisional pole position with 5 minutes 40 on the clock.
I mean, a 1:15.9 just isn't quick enough. Then again, Critical does only set a 1:16 flat, but a 1:15.9 will be nothing close to what Dakar or any other, or even Critical will be able to set this session.
Remember, it's only first banker lap of the session. It's only going to get faster from here. Well, here's Dakar, the Frenchman. Right, is this Dakar?
I believe it's actually Acer.
Well, it's Acer around the fountain. And, well, we've got 5 winners so far this season. Pretty good, considering we have a 3-way fight for the championship, and we've had 5 winners in 8 rounds.
Dakar starting his lap now. I mean, we'll stay on board with Acer for the rest of this lap, because, of course, he's just coming towards the end. That's nice and clean from Acer. Acer's always been that rear gunner, which I don't think he wanted. But he has done pretty well, and he is filling in that role. The lap is quite slow with a 1:23, so we'll have to see what he's doing. I don't think he's... That might have been his outlap.
That was his outlap, yeah. That was a fast outlap, to be honest.
It did seem it. He's come in through that fast right-hander kink. Of course, that turn's really interesting there. You have to basically ace that kinky...
Oh, yeah, you do.
Again. Maybe not kinky so much. Coming through that straight now. Of course, it bends round, so he's got to be very careful there. And then all of these turns, basically the braking zones
Daker's going to cross the line.
Each other.
Let's have a quick look at Daker for a moment, and then we can look back at Acer. Here's Daker round the Toronto Fountain, and he is going to go for pole. He wants that Grand Chelem, but of course, you can't do it without starting first. Round the final few corners, he's going to go, sliding with the rear, nearly into the wall. Same what Outguard did, but will he be faster? You bet he will. Surely. No!
Well, as Will Buxton once said, of course you want to qualify first, because that means you start at the front. Acer just crossing the line now. He only sets at 1:16.6.
That is not the lap he may have wanted. You said, with Acer, I mean, both him and Daker left Spark to go to Turkington. Looks very good for the white, blue and red team. But Acer, I mean, he never wanted to be the rear gunner. But then again, you kind of have to expect it when your teammate is Daker himself. Cars round at the Toronto Fountain. I'm naming that section the Toronto Fountain now. Okay, it's called the Toronto Fountain now.
I mean, no one. P8, 9, and 10 still have not set a competitive lap time, so it will definitely.
No one's really set a competitive lap time yet.
I mean.
Oh, so many. That's right, yeah, isn't it?
Let's see, we've got 2 minutes left. Falcon is obviously coming across the line now to start his lap.
Yes.
We'll have to. He keeps it nice and tidy through there. Probably flat through there. I don't know. I can't exactly hear what he's doing.
Falcon's looking pretty quick as well.
Straight now into like these corners are really difficult for these drivers because they just have to turn through the braking zone. Their car's gonna be unstable. It's not gonna settle. They won't be placed in the correct point. Coming through that right-hander now. Let's see where he's going to get. Again, one of these corners again where he's just got to hopefully pick and he hits the back of his car.
Oh.
It rotates him round, but it's going to slow him down. And especially through somewhere where he's going to be flat out. It's coming through that aptly laned Toronto Fountain section by Kian, or however you pronounce it.
It's Kian.
Kian. Coming towards the extended exit here. Has he slowed down? He's
still got time. Yeah, he has. He's going to go for another lap. That mistake, he knows. If he tries to finish the lap, he's going to go into the pits. He's not. No. Okay.
Daker has resetted.
Oh no!
That means
is that done for Daker?
He's probably not going to have.
He might have time. He might have time. When did he reset?
He's probably not going to have time.
It's going to be really close.
He has rage quitted. He's done.
So that currently,
Daker will not get the Grand Slam he wanted.
No, and it's all thrown away at one qualifying session, and I think he would have died. He would have given away all his practice sessions just so that he could take pole for this one. Unlucky. But then again, I mean, even the greatest don't have everything ticked off in the history books.
How does that famous saying go? You can't have everything all at once. Daker's not going to get his Grand Slam today, but we'll have to see what happens. He might get it one day. Falcon is under investigation for jumping in and out, but he's going through now. Let's see if he can finally get a competitive lap time on the board. Coming towards the section where he slowed down before. He's probably not going to do it again. No, he's not, but he does miss the apex there by quite a bit. Now behind one of the PMPs, I'm not sure who it is. I'm going to guess it's Ratty. I don't know if that's right or not. They've lost their front wing, so they stay out of his way. He's coming down that front straight now. Does he actually get a lap time on the board?
Cross the line.
Yes,
and
he does.
Falcon will go P5. And that's the mega return he wanted. The mega return Leneva wanted. Falcon Uberschau in the return everyone was ecstatic about will be position numero 5.
Well,
Sank
my predictions
for Falcon.
were in the right order. It's just Outguard's a few positions high.
Well, qualifying is over. And what a qualifying it was. You'd think Dakar would take pole. You'd think he'd have a good shot at the Grand Chelem, but no, it's been taken away from his hands and taken away as early as 1 minute left on the clock in qualifying 3. Outguard for Craig. The only man for Craig today is on pole position, numero 1 for the Moroccan. And that was qualifying in Toronto. What a qualifying it was, wasn't it, Kota? Here's your top 10.
It was definitely an interesting qualifying. Of course, our top 10 is now Outguard in pole. Dakar being denied that Grand Slam in the last play.
Falcon grid penalty. Romula One race director and Falcon Uberschall. That P5 Sank is gone down. Because now it's numero 8. P8 for him, 3 place grid penalty for the start of this race. And yes, I know I said 5 in French and 8 in Spanish. Don't question me.
Yep.
This is not what Falcon wanted.
That's going to mean your final order today is Outguard on pole, Dakar in P2 being denied that Grand Slam. Critical was not the one to take it off him, it was Outguard, so Critical lines up in P3. ASM going to be in P4 with Acer close behind in P6. The Turkingtons both in the top 5 after that grid penalty. Their team owner will be happy. Clocks ending up in P6 for that hyperdrive team and Dijon in P8. Falcon after that grid penalty will be in P8 with Ratty in P9. The Train Pig not being able to set a competitive lap rounds off our top 10 and he is in P10.
Well, what a qualifying it was, Kota. We've got, I believe, a good 10 minutes till the start of the race. Yes, but we might start a little early. Anyways, of course, it's interview time. And I believe it's going to be the top 3 here, unless Dakar says no merci to the interviews. So currently, none of the drivers in commentary VC, not yet. Let's have a look inside the booth for the interview with, of course, the top 3, I believe. It will be from qualifying 3. Well, whilst Romula One is still on a quick break, thank you to everyone so far for watching. And if you enjoy the race highlights on YouTube, don't forget you can watch all the races, all the qualifying sessions, live, on demand even, whenever you want, wherever you want, in full, for absolutely free. Don't forget to subscribe.
Are you a Sky Glass customer? Just press the red button on your remote to feature onboards and replays.
Indeed. And, well, as I said, subscribe and join the Discord even, so that you'll never miss out on another enthralling round of Romula One. Now let's get to interviews. Players, would you kindly take us to the booth? If you can. And we've got a man called Fartguard. Oh, he's actually called DJ McNugget Balls. Okay, let's remove him. That's awesome. What?
I'm ASM, bro.
You're ASM, okay. Well, next time have your name ASM and not Fartguard.
Womp womp.
Okay. Yes, okay. I'll invite the real Outguard in a sec as well, but let's start off with ASM. P4 for you. How's qualifying? You looked quite speedy for a few laps, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess.
And so, P4, what's the strategy like for today's race?
I'm not telling that.
Okay. Jeez,
Got you there.
didn't have to be so harsh about it. That's going to get clipped, I swear. So ASM, you've got Dakar, you've got Outguard, you've got the other drivers to worry about. How do you think the race is going to pan out? Do you think you have a good shot at winning?
No. Definitely not. I just want points, that's it.
ASM, I've got 2 questions.
What?
First of all, how do you feel about England's performance today?
They were, can I swear?
Pardon?
Can I swear?
Go for
No.
it. Yes.
No, don't. No.
Yes.
They were poop.
I agree.
Very poop.
Oh, okay.
Second question. Arse or tits?
Okay, that's enough. Thank you very much, ASM.
Hey, let me answer.
Here. Thank you very much, ASM,
That was
for
a very
being here.
valid question. I don't
That
know
was a
why
very-
it's kicked out.
And sorry for the language that Kota just had. But are there any other drivers here? No, currently not. So that might wrap up interviews. For now, at least.
No other driver wishes to comment, I guess.
That's fine. Okay. Well, Players has been basically AFK in this scenario. I wanted him in the booth. I wanted the camera to say hello to us, but okay, it's fine. Romula One will be back in just a moment. I'm gonna start my introduction.
Calling you up.
Well, welcome everybody to the Magic 6. 5 winners so far this season. Will that become 6 here at the Magic 6 city itself? Toronto plays host to round 9 of season 4 in Romula One. And what a season it's been so far. And it could just get even more exciting. Not only championship-wise, but as a race itself. This track map, a street track, is a very interesting track. Many sharp corners and a few fast kinks. Turn 1 is a corner that many drivers have to look out for. And also the weird but very fast chicane that drivers have to take whilst braking. The corner that so far catching people out is a 90-degree corner with a wall right on the side. No runoff, taking many cars out. And of course, the penultimate corner. Many cars have slid, have lost the back end and have hit the wall over there. And of course, before we go to the lineup, we don't have to forget the named by me, the Toronto fountain section. But anyways, let's have a quick look up at the booth. I'm your commentator, Kian GP, and alongside me today to provide you all the action and data is British Kota. And it's going to be an exciting race here at Toronto, Kota, won't it?
It definitely will. I mean, it's a tight, twisty circuit. It's quite fast-paced, while at the same time being slow and difficult for these drivers. It's definitely going to be a close race, I think, with Dakar not getting pole. I think he will shoot up into first, but I think he's going to struggle to break away with this slipstream.
Well, new stories heading into this race that will start at 9:30 Central European time. The Crakes, they seem to be worried in practice, but the single Crake has been really good this weekend, this qualifying. He's taken pole. Meme Racing has looked good. Of course, Hyperdrive, the home racing, the home team on home turf. Falcon Uberschau is back, and in a big way. Took 5th place, but with a 3-place grid penalty. He is going to start from 8th place. And of course, Dakar, the proclaimed by many greatest driver in the world, was going for the Grand Chelem, topped every single session except Q3, the one where it mattered most, which means his chance is gone. And so far, that stat is only held by Critical Noob, who got it last season. We've had 5 winners so far, but could it become 6 here at the Magic 6? What was it called? Sorry for my language. I apologise for my language.
That's not appropriate.
So I'm sorry, but bon après-midi to all the. I wanted to say good afternoon in French. I screwed it up. Anyways,
I don't know why you tried to do that, to be honest.
Well, because I am French. I used to be able to speak French. Okay. Well, with a minute to go till the race, good afternoon, Kota, and to all the viewers in Canada, good afternoon as well. Bon après-midi. So it's going to be a close one with around a minute to go here at Toronto, won't it?
It definitely will. I mean, we'll see what happens. It's a close track, and the strategy today is definitely going to play out onto it. I don't actually know what the strategy is because I've been fired as an engineer brutally from meme racing, which is rather depressing. But I'm going to go with start on the mediums, go to the hards, maybe the softs, depends how you're feeling at the moment.
Well, we're going to get ready in the stands. The French-Canadian or just the Canadian? They're all ready. This should be an enthralling, exciting battle here. We've got 5 different winners so far this season. Could it become 6 at the Magic 6? This is going to be an important race, not only for whoever wants to win, whoever wants to get good points, but for the championship itself. Watch the lights, drivers. We're going to get ready. The Canadian Grand Prix, and we're about to get underway.
We're still going to take a moment because someone's messed up.
Ooh, yeah, and Outguard's out of his car. So let's quickly have a look at the driver lineup, at least top 5. Outguard takes pole from Dakar, Critical Noob, ASM, and it was Falcon Uberschall, but he's got a 3-place grid penalty. Let's get ready. All the drivers, I think, are now ready. And we are going
Still waiting on Falcon.
Oh, not yet, sorry. Well, it's 9:31 now, Central European time. We should have started a minute ago. Oh my goodness me.
What are we going to do?
Well, as we're getting ready, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the race highlights, you can watch the live streams whenever you want, wherever you want, live or on demand, in full, for free. Click the subscribe button and join the Discord to be notified whenever a round is happening. Here is our championship, well, not our championship leader, one of the guys fighting for the championship, Outguard in the Craig on pole. Then the guy next to him, he beat him brutally in Q3. The drivers are finally ready, and so are we. Lights are about to go on, and when those lights go on, we will be
Ready?
go! Look at that start from Outguard. The Moroccan got off incredibly. One man who didn't, as Critical Noob is side by side with him for the lead of the race. What a gap these two have to the bottom. And Critical Noob just gets ahead in the meme racing car. Dakar, like he's always had this season, has had a bad start, but he's somehow, some way caught up already in that Turkington, and now he's fighting for the lead. Once again, oh sorry, that's Acer. So Dakar did have a bad start.
I think it's important to remember there is a tyre differential between these guys though. Outguard is
side by side.
The rest of them are on the mediums. Dakar is now catching back up to the front, but I think he's actually on the softs. I can't really see because that's all mediums.
Dakar's on the softs. You can see on the Romula One timetable as we go past the Toronto fountain. Outguard is what it says on the time ticker. Actually, Daker's leading on the softs. Outguard's on hard, so him having less pace than the Frenchman would make sense. But Daker looking to colonise Romula One like he's done with so many other championships before. Nearly touching the wall. Outguard just sticks ahead. Lap 1 done. Lap 2 begins in Toronto.
No, Daker is... I'm fairly sure Daker is actually now in the lead. He's just really laggy.
It looks like it. It looked like on my screen that he tapped the wall there too. I
Daker
think...
is definitely in the lead, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a big gap. That's a big gap. But remember, he's on softs, Outguard's on hards, who's actually dropping off a bit. No surprise. Critical Noob now up to second on mediums. So, will Outguard's choice of tyre... It should be better later on in the race, unless, well, the strategy itself fails. So far, an incredible start from...
Just like one of their sponsors, Daker is delivering that package.
That was awful. That was awful. Jokes with British Coat on Romula One. That just ticks off the bingo card for this weekend. And we're only on lap 2. Daker has a big gap to Critical Noob as he just taps that wall on the penultimate corner. Lap 3 begins. DRS will go open, I believe, if they even have DRS in Romula One. Yeah, they do, right?
Yes, they do have DRS. They do have DRS.
Oh my goodness. This is extraordinary.
He's really trying to make a big gap. That's what he's got to do in this stage of the race. He's on those softs. Those softs won't last forever. They won't have the advantage for the entire race, and he will be fighting back once he's performed that undercut, and basically he'll have to conserve tyres while the rest are pushing. So he needs as big of a gap as possible now, so we'll have to see what happens though.
I want someone to count how many times me and Kota are going to say Daker this race, because it's going to be a lot. Here's Critical Noob at the forefront of this group, fighting for second round the Toronto fountain. I'm going to say that so often today. But Asa, who has usually been more at the top of the midfield, is now in this fight. And he's looking quick. He really is. Critical Noob goes a bit wide and has to take avoiding action for that wall. And now Asa is at the forefront of this extraordinary battle. If that is Asa, or is that just a really laggy Daker? Yeah, that is Asa. You can see Daker all the way up the road. A lap 4 of 36 in today's race, the Canadian Grand Prix, and it's been incredible so far. And Critical Noob wants to make it even more extraordinary. Nearly touches the wall. He's not taking good lines, is he, Kota? He keeps getting closer and closer to the wall and takes bad lines, but this time it's not. This time he's gonna just inch ahead of the Turkington.
Yeah, Critical and Asa are now putting some distance between them and Outguard, but of course Outguard is on those hard tyres. I mean, if the strategy is later to pit to the softs, Outguard's probably made a bit of a strategic blunder here, but he will be able to push further, and we'll see what happens.
Well, round they go, and Outguard is starting to drop off. Not a surprise, he's on slower tyres. He's looking to go longer into this race. Will that strategy work? I talked to Outguard earlier today. I believe it was Outguard, yeah. One of the drivers at least. And they were talking about how hards may be the best tyre for today's race. Hards can go long, but... Alright. So, a quick message from our lovely producer players, just for the stream to know, because we went silent just now. But, so, yeah, because currently the mediums do seem better for the strategy, and they've looked pretty pacey, but there were some drivers who were telling me that the hards may just be better for strategy. and so that they can go way quicker at the end of this race. Is it true? Well, we've got 31 more laps to find out, and it's going to be exciting. So stay with us here in Romula One.
Hopefully for Outguard, unlike Gareth Southgate, he hasn't made a strategic mistake.
I don't think he makes strategic mistakes. I just think his strategy is pass to each other, and what would Calvin Phillips do? I wouldn't call that a mistake. I would just say into the wall goes Critical Noob. That's not the first time he's done that. He constantly taps those walls. And honestly, count what I'm saying about him touching walls now. Because he constantly has to take avoiding action. That's what's slowing him down. Because genuinely, he could have the pace to go on by himself.
Yeah, I mean, he touches walls as much. No, not gonna make that
Oh,
joke.
don't. We're live. We're on air, you know.
These walls, it's good they don't have sponsors, because if they did, they'd probably be tearing off and getting in those aerodynamics of these cars. This is also Roblox racing, so that wouldn't be happening. But just think about if it would. It'd be really tough for these drivers. Luckily for them, though, that isn't the case, and they're able to just drive through, basically touching the walls as much as they want, and they'll be able to do it many times. But they might get punished eventually. They might lose their front wing, and that might be it.
Well, Outguard is all of a sudden back in the fight. Of course, Fernand, he couldn't make it today. That's going to be a big loss for his championship. But it's Outguard. He and his robotic interviews, his very stupid interviews, leading the forefront here for Craig Motorsports.
I think Critical's in the lead again. Well, not in the lead, in P2 again. Of course, Dakar is still leading 3.6 seconds out in front. He's definitely got into a bit of a groove here. I've been on board, I've been watching him this entire time. He hasn't hit a wall in a while. He's basically got the laps basically counted out, turned out. He's perfectly driving. But in P2 at the moment, it does look to be Critical. Of course, Outguard still on those slower drivers. Tyres is really, really close. Sorry, for anyone that doesn't know, the UK had a general election recently, and I'm quite active in politics, so I haven't slept. I've slept about 10 hours in the last 3 days.
Are you happy Labour won?
Let's just say I'm very happy that Labour won, and my constituency turned to Labour after being Tory for 150 years, so I won a few bets. Dakar both walls.
Yeah, producer says racing, not politics. I agree. I'm Lib Dem all the way.
While being lapped, lost his front wings. Front wing.
Oh, who was it? Wing. Who was it?
Not front wings. It was pomegranate. Or whatever. I don't know.
Awesome. Awesome. But enough with the politics. I'm Lib Dem all the way anyways.
Rather be a Tory than Lib Dem.
Yeah. So currently, sees the corner cutting. Currently, corner cutting. I was just watching a football match there. I don't know who's been corner cutting, but I presume Critical Noob might be close, considering he's always going wide. Of course, I believe there's a limit of 20 corner cuts.
Ace is on 3, Ace is on 3, Train Pig's on 3, Outguard's on 3. Critical Noob actually is on 0.
Oh, wow.
That'll be through that chicaney area, of course. That'll be where they're picking up those corner cuts.
Yeah, most likely, because unlike most of the corners here, that's open track. There's a lot of runoff there. So
and just to say, Critical was 1 second faster than Dakar that lap. So Dakar's tyres must already be dropping off on lap 8. Or he just had a bad...
Or he had a bad lap, but honestly, knowing Dakar, he could just gain that time back. Like in a lap at least.
10 faster than his last lap, and Critical was slower, so it seemed like that was just a bad lap for Dakar.
Well, currently Outguard, on my screen, not on the ticker, but on the road, it looks like Outguard is leading the forefront of this small peloton. Of course, normally there's like a big group of like 5 drivers or so, but except for this group, everyone's really been like mainly split up, unless it's a two-man two-man fight.
Definitely a close fight. It's definitely interesting to see what's happening. Dakar still leading the way though, but he hasn't really made that explosive impact that he would probably want to. Critical's been able to stay Critical now in P4, so I guess Acer has now been able to stay 3.4 seconds behind. But of course, if that Turkington stays in P2, they can use team orders to make sure Dakar consolidates his lead, but they can't use team orders against the other two, so we'll have to see what happens.
So far, it's incredible. I'm looking away. Wait, hold on a minute. I'm looking at the results from the last race real quick because I want to look at the championship standings. Was Dakar driving a crate last time? That's unusual. I'm trying to find the championship standings because I want to, but I can't find them anywhere.
Outguard's got back into P2. If those softs are already dropping off on lap A, and the strategy is in fact to go to the mediums, this is really good for Outguard. He's able to hold there.
Dakar's gaining time.
Yeah, well, let me be delusional. Maybe I want Outguard to win. What have you got against that?
Yeah, I want Outguard to win.
I don't.
So, our lovely producer, and I'm going to quote him, said, our lovely producer, who happens to also be the engineer of Dakar, wants Dakar to win. Is that crazy? Indeed. Are we biased because our lovely producer, who's working so hard, also happens to be Dakar's race engineer? Maybe. Lap 11 of 36. Currently, Acer's leading this group, and he's gained a bit of time as well, which means, ladies and gentlemen, Turkington have a 1-2.
Well, they do it.
And our lovely producer is ecstatic.
They do at the moment, but we'll have to see what happens. I think it's definitely still a race that anyone can get. The tyre differential is incredibly important to remember here, and the top 2 to 4 are, in fact, Outguard's lost his front wing.
My goodness! And Outguard has gone off, has lost his front wing, and that's not only just the battle for the second gone, but that's his strategy ruined as well, and my goodness!
Outguard has just sold as hard as the energy drink company he represents.
Wow. And Craig are not going to be happy about that. But I'm sure our lovely producer will be ecstatic. He's going to have to go into the pit, surely. And that's ruined his race. And for Outguard, that's the championship slipping out of his hands, Kota.
That definitely takes some of the pressure off Acer and Critical's arms out, though. Dakar still leading away, but it means that they can put their heads down and try and get close to him. As Chris Boy accidentally pits onto the inters.
Well,
pits onto the softs. So he's going to try and probably going to try and do a 2-stop.
That's so sad for Outguard. He was doing so well, but now at the corner that was taking everybody out. That's a Turkington. Was he off, or is he still in the battle? He's still in that battle. That's Acer. But for Outguard, unfortunate. And it's the corner that has been catching everybody out. And it's a corner that's just caught him out. Unbelievable.
Fournier has just crashed as well. He was 34 seconds off the lead when he crashed. Don't know if we're really interested in that.
Well, a third into this race, and we've had quite a few drivers already pit. I believe it was Chris Boy, of course, Outguard. Right, yeah, I believe was it as well. Someone else pitted. So far, a third into this Grand Prix, it's the strategy starting to kick in. Train Pig has indeed pitted as well. So, Kota, how is your race so far lining up? How's the race lining up so far with your prediction?
Pretty good. I think Dakar's still going to win it.
Who isn't?
It's definitely still a race all to play. I mean, Critical could still get in there. Acer could still get in there. But I think when it comes down to it, Acer will be told to back off Dakar. Then again, Dakar did leave that team for one race. So I don't know if the team ownership at Turkington will be happy about that. We'll have to see what happens this race, basically. We don't... Oh, shut up, players. I'm trying to add drama.
Don't be mean to our lovely producer. I'm so sorry, players. And yes, if you're watching this, you can't hear our producer. Good. Good. But don't be rude to him, Kota.
Rockster's just lost his front wing. That is heartbreaking for the Hyperdrive, who was in P5. He is going to drop down after that. He's just entered to the pit lane. What tyre will he pit onto? Is he going to balls it like Outguard did, or is he going to pit onto a set of the mediums?
Oh, and that is the sight of a car with not what it should have. There, it looks better now. But it went from a go-kart to a Formula One car for a moment. Dakar leading by 6 seconds over his teammates at Turkington, Acer. And for the viewers watching, we're getting more and more viewers at the moment. Type in the chat, who do you think is going to win? Do you still think Dakar is going to win, or do you think someone like Outguard is going to turn it around? Comment down below in the YouTube chat and get a conversation going. Well, 14 laps into this 36-lap race, and so far it's been... Oh, look at that slide from Acer. So far it's been a very... Was that... No, that's Dakar. That's Dakar, sorry. So far it's been a really good race. A few incidents, and there was for a moment a big battle.
Now enters the pit lane, though. Critical Noob now... 21 laps on the softs. I think that's fairly audacious from the main racing driver, but we'll have to see how it plays out. Of course, this is an undercut attempt on Ace. This probably will work. It will undercut Ace, but will he be able to keep those older tyres and stay in front is the question.
Well, so Critical Noob, he's most likely going for a two-stop. 21 laps on the softs doesn't seem very good, but Dakar has gone 15 laps on those softs so far, so it is potentially possible.
Yeah, I don't know. With Dakar going so long on these softs, this is probably a one-stop.
So, I mean, yeah, for Dakar, it's probably going to be a one-stop. He's probably going to go to mediums or hards. For Critical Noob, I just don't see a world where he... For who? Sorry?
Dakar is now in the pit lane, though.
Ooh, interesting! Dakar, race leader in the pits.
Time on that lap.
And, I mean, I don't see a world where Critical Noob goes on to... goes 21 laps on those softs. Dakar, race leader, comes out to the pits. Was race leader, now in P2. On the hard compound. And I believe Dakar is ahead of Critical Noob.
He's on the hard tyres, which I think is a bit wrong for the strategy. I would have gone to the mediums there if I was his engineer.
I would have.
But he's gone on to the hards. He's going to have fresher tyres by the end. Critical's definitely not. He's now 13 seconds behind, but I think that's behind Acer in the lead, so he's definitely going to be in P2 with quite a decent lead. And he's a little bit less behind Dakar. He can now see Dakar in his sight. Let's see what happens here for Critical. Let's see if he can get in front of Dakar.
Well, it honestly, outside of strategy, not much going on. We're just waiting for everyone else to pit. Currently, it's Daker's teammate at Turkington, Acer, on the mediums, leading from Daker. It's Turkington 1-2, and then a meme racing 3-4. Critical Noob and the Train Pig ASM in P5. Outguard has managed to get up to P6. Talking about Turkingtons, Acer has pitted, and I believe is at soft tyres. No, it's hard. Hard tyres for Acer. And Critical Noob gets promoted up into second.
I mean, you can now see that Critical Noob's about 2-3 seconds off Daker. I don't know if he's actually going faster. I'm keeping an eye on these lap times. It looks like he just about is. But it's hard to tell until Daker sets a properly representative lap. Though in that sector alone, he was 5/10 faster than Daker, so that's half a second.
Well, currently, Turkington has reminded me that Turkey is beating the Netherlands 1-0 in the European Cup right now at half-time. And as an Amsterdam resident, I'm not happy.
I'm happy about that.
Cheers, players.
I'd rather face Turkey than I would the Netherlands.
Honestly, yes. But I live in the Netherlands, so I don't care who wins out of
Yeah, I was going to say,
Holland or
you probably
England.
don't want to see England win, so...
I rather would. But like after that final 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, I would rather see England win, but I don't mind if the Netherlands win. Back to the racing.
On that lap, Critical was about 1.2 seconds faster. He can now properly see Daker. It's really close between the two drivers. Let's see if he's got DRS this lap. I think he has. Oh. No, he does not.
So the Train Pig has passed Acer. That doesn't make sense, does it? Or is this is Critical Noob, sorry. No.
Yeah,
the Train Pig
has passed Acer because they're both soft.
And now, this is the gap between Critical Noob and Daker. The gap has gone smaller, but Critical Noob will have to pit again. He's on soft. So halfway through this race, this could be exciting.
I don't think Critical...
Oh, come on, he has to. He has to.
I don't think he will. No,
he will.
You guys can cope as hard as you want. I don't think Critical's going to pit again. He's about to make the move, though.
Oh, this is going to get very close. Lap 19 of 36. And Critical Noob, DRS wide open. Could very well do it. Down into one. And the switcheroo from the Frenchman to keep the lead. And Daker still has it. Still has it in his grasp. The Grand Chelem may be over, but the victory isn't. And the championship, sure isn't.
Critical Noob is now in front of Daker, though. Let's see how this strategy plays out. They've got 16, 17 laps to go. I think Critical Noob isn't going to need to box again, but these two think he is. It will definitely be interesting.
Oh, Daker's gone wide. Daker has gone a bit wide, and now Critical Noob has set himself up for potentially the lead of the race into the Toronto Fountain section, and Daker lost the rear for a moment. But he's gaining time. He's making the gap bigger. Remember, it's soft v hards. So Critical Noob should beat Daker in this. Again, he probably will also pit. What a race we've got on our hands. What a strategy this might become.
The only issue for Critical is that Daker is kind of goated, though, so he's going to still struggle to make that overtake. He can try and stay behind, but the DRS is basically going to keep Daker.
Oh, here comes Critical Noob! Same as last lap. It's a switcheroo from Daker, and the lead, that's still Daker's. But only 1/10 separate them, Kota. Remember, Schumacher lost as well. Fangio did too. So surely Daker can too. Critical Noob gets past. And Critical Noob might have just taken the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix, but Dakar inching ahead, inching.
With how these DRS zones are done, it's basically perfect for racing, but for Critical Noob, it absolutely sucks. Because as soon as he gets past on the main straight, Dakar's basically passed on the way down to turn 4-ish.
So, Kota, I'm going to give it to you for a moment because I need to get a bottle of water for this.
Fair enough. I mean, Critical Noob's still behind. He'll have to basically just try and be consistent and try and get ahead. That's Critical Noob's problem at the moment. Is he's basically coming up close to Dakar and then driving slower than him. If he's not consistent, you can see through that braking zone, he is gaining time when he's out of basically the dirty air, but that is basically inside of Dakar. He'll overtake here, as he does normally. Comes through, they'll battle for a bit coming through here. Dakar will probably hold nice and close behind because this is the most promising it's been for Critical Noob though. He might be able to gain enough time to not let Dakar pass through that DRS zone. Brakes nice and late. Dakar does close up, but he should slow down a bit through here. Critical cuts that corner. Dakar has the DRS. Will he get back past? He's closing. Yes, he will. Now, is Critical's tyre advantage going to let him back past here, though? No, it's not. Critical hits the wall. And this is the issue for Critical. If Dakar's slightly ahead, Critical can't see where he's going. Critical slowed right down because at the end of the day, he can drive as fast as he wants. If you're inside of another car, it's going to be difficult to see where you are.
So currently Dakar's tyres are most likely going to be better than Critical Noob's. At least at the moment. He's on hards. Critical is on softs. What's the bigger issue? That Critical has to pit, most likely has to pit again, or the fact that he can't get past a driver on the hards whilst he's on the softs. But can he hear again? Sigh on sigh into turn 1. This time he's got about a car length between them. And this time, Critical Noob takes the lead. But it won't be for good. We still have so many laps to go. An entire pit stop potentially to go. And definitely DRS zones.
Critical is still definitely the faster driver of the two. When it comes to probably with a tyre advantage as well. In fact, Critical might have just stayed ahead through that DRS zone as well. No, he hasn't, but he's right behind. That was very promising. If Critical can stay ahead through a DRS zone, he can basically start building that gap. He doesn't have to have Dakar right in front of him, which is the main thing slowing him down. He's right in the slipstream. He's still close by. He just needs to get in front and give Dakar enough room so he's not chasing behind through this sector of the track.
Well, currently, what a race it has been so far. What a battle. This is a battle for the ages, a battle for the greats. And Critical Noob still trying to get past. It's attempt number 5 on this main straight. Critical Noob takes the lead. About a car length between them once again. But Dakar is still there. Hards versus softs. I don't think Critical Noob can just keep going. Critical's probably going as fast as possible. But he can't compete. Imagine Dakar on softs in this situation. He's too good. Critical Noob inches ahead. But Dakar has DRS. Dakar has a long straight line in front of him. And Dakar might just very well have the lead heading into this corner. And he does. Unbelievable race we're seeing here. And we've got a good 13 laps remaining as we head into the Toronto Fountain. Let's have a quick look at the four-way battle for third position before taking another look at that fight for first position. Here's the fight. ASM leading over Acer, Afghard and Ratia. Currently, a bit of a gap between them. Let's go back to the fight for the lead.
Critical might try and basically back off here, not take the lead between the second DRS zone. and then basically lead through the second half of the lap, where it really his tyre advantage is. He just needs to be in front to use it.
That would be better. That would be smart.
He does stay behind. He's now going to have the DRS through here. Does he take the lead?
Oh, he might here. DRS,
closing.
closing.
Oh, his tyres might just not be good enough now. He is still just slightly behind. Dakar definitely with a bit of oversteer there, but it's very controlled. I think Critical might now have a tyre disadvantage compared to Dakar. I don't think he'll need to box. He's got a 13-second advantage to ASM behind, who is also on the softs. But I think that's going to be his fight for the lead over now.
And you thought he was going to finish the race on this compound.
I still think he will not box. I just don't think he'll win.
Well, currently Critical Noob has lost a bit of time to Dake. Could still gain it on the front stretch as they go past us in the booth. And Critical Noob, he's gaining time, but he just does... Oh, actually, he's looking on the inside. He has about a car length between the two. It's over, surely. Critical Noob just does not have the pace. Critical Noob does not have the tyres. And honestly, an Acer, the Turkington, is gaining on the two of them. Critical, I think you shouldn't. I think it's time to stop focusing on the lead. It's a lost battle. It's not looking good for Critical Noob here. And I think Dakar might just get the victory. The victory number oh so many in Romula One.
I mean, if Acer continues on his current pace and Critical continues on his current pace, then Critical will still finish P2 in this race. So I don't think Critical is going to be boxing again. I think he will stay out and he will basically finish a fairly comfortable P2 with about 4 seconds in. Maybe a bit more. Oh no, Critical boxes. Okay, I was wrong.
You were so wrong, and you should have expected it. Critical Noob into the pit lane here at Toronto, and he is probably going to go on to another set of softs, isn't he?
I'd like to clarify that I may be wrong, but I still think Critical's an idiot for doing it.
I don't. Can get a lot of time. So Critical Noob comes out of the pit lane on another set of softs.
No, if he catches about a second and a half a lap against Dakar, he could win the race.
He could, but he might not.
Let's see what happens. He probably won't hold on to that P2 now. Of course, that undercut for Critical was perfect. The two-stop has definitely been faster, or definitely will be faster by the end of this race. Acer is currently setting 1 minute 19s, and Critical will probably go back to setting low 1 minute 18s. We'll have to see. Dakar's doing 1 minute 18.7s, so if Dakar continues his current pace, Critical's probably going to end up behind more than he was before he pit. But we'll see what happens.
Someone said Critical is keeping ERS open on the corners. I think he meant DRS. Who knows? We'll find out. Critical Noob is about to get round Acer for position number 2 here at Toronto. And unlike with Dakar, pretty simple move. A big gap between the two now, and Critical Noob is back in the position he was a lap or two ago.
When Critical was fighting Dakar, it was different because Dakar still
Critical Noob goes wide, Kota. Sorry to interrupt you. Critical Noob just nearly made contact with the inside curb there. And I'm not talking the boards, not the curb. That could have been killer.
When he was fighting with Dakar still had those newer tyres, whereas unfortunately for what's his face, Acer.
And it looks like big news. The train pig might have disconnected.
he was already low down in the running, so I wouldn't call it big news, but he has now disconnected. He was in P7 before he did, or P8, sorry, fighting with Outguard for P8, but he has now disconnected, so he won't be in the running, I'm afraid. Which will be bad for the meme racing team, especially after the amount of issues they've had. Critical just gained about a second that lap, so that's good for him. Whether or not it'll be enough to win the race, it probably won't be. Oh, sorry, 2 seconds. It probably won't be enough to win the race, but we'll have to see what happens.
Well, so far, what a race it's been. We've still got 8 laps remaining. And you know what? If Critical Noob has the pace as he cuts that corner again, he could very well win it. If he has the pace.
I mean, the point is, his tyres are likely to drop off. He's gained about 8 tenths in that sector. So if he continues gaining about 8 tenths in Sector 1 and a few more tenths in Sector 2 and Sector 3, he will likely win it. We'll have to see if he can hold on to these tyres and can hold this pace. It's definitely going to be close if he can.
Well, here's the battle between the Crake of Outguard and the G-Force car of Chris Boy, and he goes a bit wide, and it's Outguard who takes over at P6. And considering the circumstances, he hasn't had all too bad of a race.
Critical now 11.2 seconds behind.
Ooh.
If he continues on this trajectory, he will win the race.
Now, you guys have been lively in the YouTube chat. Comment down below, make the conversation even bigger. Do you think Critical Noob could potentially win this race? Or will Dakar retain his lead and retain his status as the GOAT? Comment down below, everybody. Get the conversation going once again. But so far, what a race it's been. And what a race it has been to watch with you, Kota, as Clocks goes wide. Clocks goes deep in the end as well. And that gives Outguard the opportunity to get past the hyperdrive. On home turf, Clocks just doesn't have the pace, or it might have the pace.
Critical is now within 10 seconds of Dakar.
Oh, wow. He's been gaining a lot of time then. But I've seen in the comments, actually, just Miriam says, surely the tyres will drop off at some point for Critical. And you know what? He's got a point. But it's going to be very exciting to follow the time differential, as it's currently on 8.8 seconds, Kota.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting race, but he's definitely just knuckled down and started to set qualifying lap times every lap, so... I mean, if he continues to do this, he's basically doing what Vettel did in Brazil in 2013, or one of the 2010s.
Yeah, he's doing a really... 8 seconds is the gap with 6 laps remaining. What a race! What a final few laps we've got on our hands, and I've been praising Romula One, hyping up this race the whole stream. But what a race we have! What a race we've had so far! It's only just going to get better. As Ratty has gone wide, lost the position to Outguard. That's P5 for the Moroccan. And he might, if he just has the pace, could get to ASM. He's looked really quick.
So it's a 19.4 for Dakar and it's a 17.7.
Oh, wow.
He's now within 6.9 seconds.
So that is unbelievable pace. Will the tyres drop off? We don't know. But at this stage, it's all or nothing for Critical Noob. He's going to go for it. Corner cuts. What are the corner cuts looking like, Kota?
Critical's got 12.
Oh, and the max is 20 before penalties get dished out. I would say I would say that's already very lenient, but that's a lot of cuts.
I don't think Critical will be getting a penalty today.
Well, the gap is 5 seconds.
It's looking close. It's looking close. Critical's tyres should drop off from this lap, but he's been setting lap after lap that's been very, very strong.
What did a Critical Noob win season 3, the championship?
The championship, yes. Critical Noob did win the season 3 championship.
All right, because I always forget who was like champion and stuff.
So it's going to be a 19.8 for Dakar and a 17.5 for Critical. He gained 2.3 seconds that lap. If this continues, he will win this race. Dakar basically now cutting. He, strategically speaking, he can do it.
So, news from the Turkington camp. Dakar has said on chat, we believe, to his lovely race engineer, who happens to be our lovely producer. He thinks Critical Noob will win. So if your lead driver isn't confident he'll win, that means 9 out of 10 times he's not going to win. The gap has gone from 5.2 to 3.2 in all but 1 lap. You can see Dakar in the same frame as a Critical Noob now. It's also close, Kota.
Yeah, I mean,
into the wall! Just tapping the wall, Critical Noob.
No one really expected this, but it looks like he's now going to win the race. So he's told the haters, LOL, I was right, you were wrong. So good for him.
Well, 3 more laps to go. The gap is closing. 3.2 has become 2.7. It seems like every new change in the timetable, Critical Noob gains at least 5 tenths. What a race we have on our hands. What's upcoming? 3 laps. It's going to be a sprint to the end for Critical Noob. It's going to be an incredible finish. I said 5 tenths. He's just done it again. So it's 2.7 becomes 2.2. And every lap he's gaining a second at the moment. But it might be a second and a half.
He gains most of his time in Sector 2, so we'll have to see. Once he gets DRS, he can properly start lodging an attack here. He might even get DRS by the end of this lap, looking at it. Oh, I don't think so. Don't know, though.
No, it's going to be, by my calculations, it should be about 1.7 at the end of this lap. Because he's averaging about a second and a half a lap around the final corner. 3 laps of racing, 3 laps of action in Romula One Season 4. And it's 1.5.
Yeah,
Critical Noob going for it.
Probably going to win this race now.
Critical Noob is absolutely going for it. He's outmastering the master. And one of the best drivers. Well, Dakar, the best driver, is being beaten by one of the best drivers. It's under a second. And surely now, with DRS wide open, Germany v France, Critical Noob will take the lead. Surely, it's predictable. Surely it will happen around these few corners.
Just like the early stages of World War II, it looks like France is about to surrender.
Oh my bloody god! You... But here comes Critical Noob! Down the inside to the lead! And seen! Critical Noob, Meme Racing, lead in Toronto. And the tyres may drop off, but those tyres on Dakar's car are so old. The master has been outmastered in Canada.
Yeah, Critical just did the Jarno Opmeer strategy. Pretty good is the Jarno Opmeer strategy, it seems. He will now basically fly off. He's got 2 laps to keep hold of those tyres and not lose the 2 seconds he's gained, as Dakar's just spun, so...
Oh my goodness me!
Anticlimactic.
And if it wasn't already, the Grand Chelem that already was taken away from him in qualifying. Well, now it looks like the stupidest thought ever. Critical Noob and Dakar wants to rewrite the history books. But although I would say he wrote it himself, he wants to become a champion in Romula One. There's a good chance he will. But Critical Noob, Season 3 champion, reigning world champion, is going to show who is the master today in Canada. We thought when he pitted for the second time that it was race done. Dakar had won. But no. It went down to the wire, and with one more lap to go here in Canada, it's Critical Noob who's going to take it all for himself.
Critical Noob's got this final lap. He's already 4 seconds in front, so unless he crashes into the wall, he's probably alright. Dakar's lost the back end 3 times through that corner alone. He's really not having a fun time in that Turkington anymore. Critical Noob leading the way. This was a fairly surprising victory for him, in fairness. I don't know why Dakar is still cutting the corners. I guess he's doing it for the memes at this point. Is Critical going to try and set the fastest lap? No, he's just going to hold on to his lead.
Safe thing to do, and Critical Noob has been extraordinary here today. Season 3 champion, and he's showing who's boss round the Toronto Fountain section. One last time, Meme Racing are going to the top step of the podium. Finally, again, here in Romula One. It may not be 6 winners, 6 different winners in the Big 6 city, but it's still going to be a whole big celebration for Meme Racing. Season 3 champion, Critical Noob, will come out the final corner. The master has been mastered, and Critical Noob wins in Romula One once again.
That's his second win of the season, of course. His first one this season came from the now defunct Hyundai team. Dakar in P2 really hasn't caught a break these last few races. Who's going to finish in P3? Probably.
Well, currently, it's probably going to be Asa. Let's have a look.
He does finish in P3. He's just crossed the line.
Turkington, maybe not the day they wanted, especially when a Grand Chelem was on the cards. But Dakar will take a solid P2, solid points for what could be a solid championship run. And Asa will take the 3rd place. Turkington will go to the podium and bow down to Critical Noob. Your winner here in Toronto. ASM takes 4th. Outguard, seen as the circumstances, a great performance, takes 5th. Ratty 6th. Chris Boy 7th. Deferred W Soup, who is honestly saving Spark after the terrible season they've started to have, and Clocks rounds out the top 10. What a race, Kota. And here is the race winner from Germany. He's going to be celebrating because that's win number 2. Championship might be out of the cards, but the Season 3 champion will gladly give over the crown to a man he's definitely glad he's beaten now. Critical Noob is your winner. As you can see in P3, it's Asa in the Turkington, and P2 will be Dakar. Let's go to interviews here, and players, if you can gladly take us up into the booth. We've got Outguard in here as well, who we'll talk to first. Welcome up into the booth, Outguard. Did I accept your thing? I accepted your thing. Why is it not loading? But here in the booth, I love to call it the booth. That's why it's called the booth. Here's Outguard. Kota left. But anyways, here, welcome up to the booth. Outguard, who finished a brilliant P5 considering he lost his front wing. Outguard, how do you feel? How did the race go for you? Are we getting an answer from Outguard? That's the big question. No, we are not. So, we're still waiting. So, Kota left. So, before all the drivers come up, what a race it was, wasn't it? And I hope you all enjoyed. Incredible finish to an incredible race. And when are the drivers coming up? That's my only question, players. Lovely producer. When are the guys? Okay. We've got Outguard. We've got Critical Noob. Okay, so we're getting ready for interviews. Let's start off with... That's not Outguard. Is it?
That's the wrong one.
Okay. Let's start off, well, Critical Noob is in here. You can come up if you want. Just raise your hand. So, let's start off with our Grand Prix winner here from Toronto. The German, the Season 3 champion, the reigning champion, and of course one of the greatest drivers on planet Earth at the minute, Critical Noob. Congratulations on your win, and of course, what a win it was. Strategy was interesting, but you made it work. That was a great drive. Tell me, how was it out there?
Wait, do you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, perfect. I didn't expect to win, honestly, but it was surprisingly good. Like, I did quali laps the entire race. Yeah, I did not expect to be this fast, honestly.
And so strategy-wise, how did it go? You had an awesome battle with Dakar halfway through the race. Before pitting for the second time, what were you thinking at that point? Did you think you were going to win the race? Did you pit because you wanted to go for the win? Or did you think, okay, I've had enough of this battle, I'm just going to bring it home?
I wanted to win, definitely. Like, yeah, my mindset was just pit for softs and do 11 quali laps, or 10, whatever it was. And I did just that. I did a 17 every lap, which is a lot faster than what I did in practice. So, yeah, I just locked in, and yeah, just a good day for me.
And what a day it was. Congratulations, Critical Noob. Actually, if our lovely producer has a question, he can ask me, so I can ask you. Do you have any questions? All right. Our lovely producer does not have any questions. Thank you, Critical Noob, for spending time with us. Congratulations on your incredible victory, and we'll see you on the podium. Spray some champagne for me, will you? And now we've got Asa, so we don't have Dakar up here, unfortunately. But Asa, welcome here to the booth.
Hello.
Hello. You finished a brilliant third place, a well-deserved third place in your Turkington. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good result, but I mean, it definitely could have been a lot better for me and for Dakar as well. Because there was definitely a 1-2 on the table. But I think the strategy was pretty shit because we went on the 1 stop when it probably should have been 2 stop. So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Sorry for the language, viewers. And Asa, you were in that incredible for a moment. We didn't really watch it because we were watching the battle between Critical Noob and Dakar. But you were in a brilliant battle for P3 between like 4 drivers, weren't you? How'd that go? Were you strategy-wise? Were you thinking of the battle or thinking of going ahead? And I mean, as in like going for the win.
I was definitely like a bit worried because I knew they were on a 2-stop strategy, so I was thinking like ASM might catch me by the end. So I was just trying to push away from that pack so I don't get slowed down. But yeah, I mean, I think I definitely could have gone for the win today because in the first stint I had way better pace than Critical Noob, but alas, I think the strategy let me down a bit.
Well, what a race it was. Thank you for joining us up in the booth. Congratulations on 3rd place. And just like I told Critical Noob, go spray some extra champagne for us at in the booth.
Yeah. By the way, Dakar is not gonna come because he rage quit. So you'll
Understandable.
have to wait for him. Yeah. Alright, see you.
Well, thank you, Acer. Let's go to the podium where we're going to be missing one man, but I will still be naming him. Let's go to the podium, players. And what a weekend it was. So, in 3rd place, the man from Namibia, Turkington. What a drive he had, even though he found himself that he could have been faster. But still, an important podium for him in the championship for both drivers and constructors. From Namibia, it's Acer in P3. Then, of course, in 2nd place, even though he isn't here, he's left the track early. The Frenchman, who could have had, well, he's actually here. Frenchman could have won, could have had the Grand Chelem. Didn't work out for him. It's the man himself, Dakar. And sorry for my mistake, Acer is from South Sudan. And your winner of the Canadian Grand Prix, Season 4, the man from Germany, Meme Racing, Season 3, reigning world champion, Critical Noob. And everybody, as they lift their trophies, let the champagne spray here at the Six City. What a race it's been. What a battle between Critical Noob and Dakar. It's been an awesome race. One of the best drives I've ever seen in Romula One. Well deserved this victory. What a weekend it has been. And we thank Toronto. Merci beaucoup. And we'll see you next week, I believe, for the British Grand Prix, is it? Yes. We'll see you next weekend for round 10. A sprint weekend as well. The British Grand Prix at Dover. Before the week after, going to Montevideo for Uruguay and Alcohir for Qatar. Thank you everybody for watching. Let the champagne spray. What a weekend. And thank you for watching all the viewers. Merci beaucoup from me. And even though Kota isn't here, merci beaucoup from him. We're out. And whilst, well, actually the German national anthem is playing, I completely forgot. I wasn't reading. Well, let the champagne spray. Let the champagne spray. What a weekend. What a way to cap off a weekend. Merci beaucoup from me, Kota, and our lovely producer players. Thank you for watching this extraordinary weekend of Romula One. We'll see you next week for the British Grand Prix at Dover. We're out. I was talking over the national anthem. I completely forgot we did those.